Okay. Yeah, so we can go ahead and start since Jin just woke up. And then we just lost Jin because of course we did. Okay.
Did you boot me?
Did you boot yourself?
No. I don't know what that was.
I literally just hit record and then you pieced out.
Did you hit record or kick Jin? Which one was it?
I'm pretty sure I hit record. I was just checking.
Well, I vanished when you hit that button, so I don't know. I'm not sure.
All right, so we can go ahead and start this since Jin doesn't have a whole lot of time. So, thank you for coming, people. Welcome, everyone. This is latest edition of the Loading Screen podcast, where we're going to start talking about things that are not just Monster Hunter. And so today we have Sarah Symmetry, who's a frequent guest of ours now. We got co-host Papa Jin down there. And then we got a new face that most people in the Monster Hunter community probably know. We got Ramos over here with his face reveal.
Yo! What's going on, guys?
So, yeah. So we're going to be doing a lot of other stuff besides just Monster Hunter. We're going to kind of branch out because Monster Hunter's in a bit of a lull right now, so people are kind of moving on to other things. So while we will discuss Monster Hunter, we're going to be talking about not Monster Hunter as well.
Is it a lull or is it a grave?
I hope it's just a lull because, I mean, I think we just got overwhelmed with too much Monster Hunter in too short of a time. Like, the past, 4 years have just been, 4 Monster Hunter games have come out, base game and their expansions and then stories, and 5 games actually, a lot of Monster Hunter. And so we never really got a chance to stop, and I think people just got burned out quicker and quicker as the games got released. So hopefully it's just a lull. But yeah, let's go ahead and just do a brief introduction for everyone else, because obviously people are going to know who me and Jin are, but Sarah and Ramos, and then let's discuss what you guys are currently playing, if not Monster Hunter. And
yeah, absolutely.
Does anyone have drinks? I got a mimosa this morning, but I know Jin literally just woke up. Coffee.
It's got Jameson, so don't.
Okay. Irish coffee.
Very nice. I'm a little broke boy, so it's just the old agua for me today.
Fair enough.
I have a mixture of sweet tea and a little bit of Crown, so that's what I'm enjoying.
Okay. Okay, that's cool.
Okay. Goodbye.
A little something original for you guys.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard of tea and Crown, but okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you mix Red Bull with the anything that's alcoholic, so you get the high and the low kind of mix.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Neato. I guess that's kind of what I'm doing with the early morning mimosa thing.
Mm-hmm.
But,
y'all speedball. It's killing your hearts.
Yeah. Live fast, die young, man.
Why don't y'all just start Adderall too? Just really go for it.
Because I'm not speedrunning.
That is the speedrunner juice. It's just Red Bull vodka. Just a bunch of crushed up Adderall in there. Very nice.
So as far as brief introduction is concerned, mostly known in the community for 2 things. That is for better tasting White Fatalis and Crimson Fatalis for the Monster Hunter Resurgence team. So they allowed me to test those mods before I actually went out. The other thing that I'm known for is I don't do speed runs, but I like to do challenges where I try to make the quest as difficult as possible. So when Fatalis first came out, people were complaining that you can't kill him without getting Fatalis gear. So I said, bet. So I killed Fatalis with all 14 weapons, 0 fatigue gear, nothing. Bo was the most horrible though, because that's one-shot city there. I mean, he even just farts on you and you just cart. But that was fun.
Or just playing Gunlance.
Yeah, fat rolling through all his attacks was fun.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, and again, brief introductions. It's me, Sarah, the British voice, who's in Cover of Darkness today because my lighting's shitty. That's about it. It's me.
Yeah, good old Sarah. And we got our Papa Jin.
Well, what the fuck, man? My name's Jin. Hi, everybody. If you don't remember, I'm 50% of Phemeto's best attributes, and I keep him in check. So, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be here to keep running this motherfucker. Let's do it. Cheers.
All right. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
All right. So, as you said earlier, Monster Hunter's in a bit of a lull. How many people are actually playing Monster Hunter actively right now?
Not me. Not fucking me.
Ramos, you still are you still doing like Iceborne mods, or what are you doing?
Right now, I'm holding off Iceborne mod until I'm finished with Crimson, because I'm recording all my runs with Crimson with every weapon, just to try to give people some ideas how to handle Crimson in that tiny little area with their weapon, show them where the windows are of attacks and your best chances for DPS and stuff like that. So I went from top to bottom. Right now, I just finished Instant Glaive. I just got 3 more weapons to go, and those are all the ranged weapons.
Okay, so now. You got all the easy stuff left. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're still playing World. Yeah. So Jin, what have you been up to?
Man, so with my new job, I've got to be a little bit more selective in what I can do with my gaming time, and I've been knocking out some older stuff that has been a little bit, I don't know, really, I guess I'll just say it's super fun, man, but it's not really something that you want to stream. I did XCOM 2.
Okay.
Knocked that out again recently, and let me tell you, that game is so fucking good on PC. I installed a couple mods. I had like 2 separate monsters running around. You know, I guess I was trying to make it into Monster Hunter. You know what I mean? Just like try to find like big creatures to kill, fix my itch. I'm still doing Pokerman. I got Tales of Arise, all the rest of those games. I can't believe I didn't get into the stories as much as I thought I would. So I plopped down the $60, picked that up on PC, loaded it up with my kids, got into it, thought it looked great. Looks like Breath of the Wild, straight ripoff, amazing, great stuff. I love the graphics on it. And then, you know, talking to you guys, you know, because you guys were farther ahead because I had, you know, missed the first couple days of work. There's no end game, and I'm literally only playing the game to have a goal. Like, I don't play these games that have like bad story or bad whatever unless there's like something at the end of the tunnel, you know what I mean? You don't want to sit there and eat a shit sandwich all day and not get ice cream afterwards. So after seeing that all you guys did the data mining and kind of looking, and even watching, you know, people like you and Titus play at the high level, there's nothing to do at the end game. So I lost all interest, because if you can't compete in it, I mean, all of us come from some form of speedrunning background here right now. Like, what are we really doing for? Like, we're playing it just to play it? I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know if I can do
I get
that.
you 100%, because I was making a video discussing stories and kind of why it fell off. Like, it's got lower viewership than Rise right now, which is scary. And it's because specifically that, where like everyone got through like the campaign and the story, and it was great. It was a fun time. But then like literally the entire end game content, like post game content, is just avoid all fights to collect eggs and then do the Elder Trials, which are piss easy. So like once people do that, they're like, well, you know, what else do we got? And like all the DLC and added content like they add is like just super easy, and it adds like nothing to the game. So it's like, you know, and there's no co-op really. Like all the co-op is just like the egg collecting, and it's like, and you just skip everything. So I totally see why everyone kind of fell off, but it was still a really good play. Like if you do get time, I would recommend going back and at least finishing the campaign. Since you already have the game, you might as well.
Yeah. They even added Close to Roth in there, which
it's such a dumb fight.
It's even questionable as when you break her armor, and then the next thing happens, she has her armor again. You know,
and then she gets up and then walks away, and just after like one random hit, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
All right, is my dress gone? All right, peace. I'm out. she just leaves, and it's just awkward.
Yeah, and then I know they added like some of the deviants and stuff, which is fine, but it's like because of the way the monsters are, like they're just stat blocks, so they're basically just different colors of the monsters we already have. And it's like,
It's crazy with the whole DLC problem. I haven't even touched Elder Frost or Orochi or Soulseer or anything like that. Because it's like, they get introduced, they're just a bunch of stats, which aren't as good as what we have right now. So essentially, all of these new monsters are added, and their worth is like one new gene. That's it. It's like, the coolest one that was added, I think, was Hellblade, because that had that really cool multi-hit attack. But outside of that, is there anything worth grinding from there? I don't know. My interest for that end game just sort of fell off when you realize it's just stats. Like there's nothing unique about the monsters themselves.
And it's stats that don't matter because there's no challenge in the game at all. Like Capcom didn't put any challenge, which is why if anyone's on like PC, Fandris made his Spire of Trials mod, which he will update for the newest version. I just talked to him yesterday about it. But it's the only challenging content in the game. It's, it's like 45 fights of like 2 and 3 monster fights that are just ridiculously hard, and that's the only challenge. Now, me and Titus went through that, and so did a couple other people, and that was super fun and an actual like reason to grind and get your team up together. But then we're at the point where, okay, we finished that, now what? We're like, there's nothing like else to chase, because you can't like make your own monsters because you can't change their elements. You can't like grind out for anything. Like, everything's super easy to get. Like, even collecting genes like takes no time at all. So yeah, I don't know. Like, it's fun to get through once, but that's about it.
Even the competitive aspects of it.
You know, with the monsters where you couldn't change their base element, you know what I was talking about? Which is what all you and me wanted to do when we were hearing about the game, was make like a fire Zenogre.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or something like that. So, sucks that you couldn't do that. You know what is cool though? As rough as Monster Hunter is, it was great for what it is. We do have one thing coming up that really makes everything else null and void. And that's Elden Ring. So, I mean, honest to God, like, I appreciate every video game in 2021 doing what it's trying to do. I appreciate all of them. But I'm going to tell you right fucking now, everything is a placeholder for Elden Ring. Because when Elden Ring comes out, I don't see anyone playing anything else.
Everyone is going to be on Elden Ring. Literally everybody.
It's the first big, like next thing, like, hey, how do we see how this is going to go? It's like the end of the PS4 gen and like one of the better ones for the new PS5. I'm really curious to see what they do graphically, because I don't remember a split like Souls series game yet where they did any, like, did that happen yet? Did they do one where they had one on like PS4 and PS5 or PS3 and PS4? I don't remember that at all.
Oh, like split generation?
Yeah, I don't think that happened. I know they did remakes, but I don't remember any split gen. And they always updated the graphics. I'm curious to see how the graphics are going to be on this. Is just what I'm trying to get at.
Right. I don't think they're going to be all that like impressive visually, because I mean, Souls games look fine, but they're never like, breaking any boundaries over there. And Elden Ring, from what we've seen from the trailers, looks great, but it doesn't look like, next gen, which is fine because it's a big open world game, and how many fucking computers would be able to run it if it looked like, God of War in this giant, open area? Like, I don't know, it probably wouldn't run all that great.
Wouldn't that just be part of the whole Souls-like game anyway? Like, a lot of them are quite drab, I know you get in things like DS1 and stuff, you do get, bright, colorful areas and things like that, but just in general with the theme, like, it is a bit of a dark, depressing kind of game series. So maybe the fact that we're not getting like as much insane graphics because there's no real color to play with. I don't know, just a thought more than anything. But yeah, I'm definitely excited. Is that coming out? So that'll be PS4 as well, then you're saying? Because PS5s are like gold dust over here.
You'll never get one.
A demo soon. If you guys didn't see that leak, that dude, one of the creators, took a screenshot of some art that like some user made on, like, I don't know if it was Reddit or whatever, and then like posted it himself to his Instagram, and it had the Elden Screen demo. You could see it on his TV. It said like press start now, like Elden Ring demo. So like that's like, I guess, kind of done. So we might get that pretty quickly here too.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
I didn't know we were gonna get a demo.
Huh?
I didn't know we were gonna get a demo.
Yeah, well, we'll get one they always do one, dude. They always do one like 2-3 months early.
They didn't do any Dark Souls demos.
Wasn't there like an email campaign? I swear there was. You sure?
Did anyone else play a Dark Souls demo?
Yeah.
I got on that train real late.
Speaking of getting on the train real late, I never played any Souls game until this year. I started my first Souls game in Dark Souls 1 Remastered. So that was my first introduction to any Souls game, and I freaking loved it. And currently right now I'm playing for the first time Bloodborne Blind, and it is a masterpiece of it. So now that I'm getting into the Souls games, right after Bloodborne, I do have a PS5. I was able to mug some little kid off of it. So I'm going to play Demon Souls on it, and then so that way I can get ready for Elden Rings. Because knowing what I'm seeing now, I'm hoping this can be able to like carry the entire year on this back, which it will.
Hopefully. Like, I know like a lot of hypes around Elden Ring, and being that it's a big kind of open world style Dark Souls game, which, I mean, Dark Souls are pretty open world as well. I mean, there was linear paths that connect it, but it was one big interconnecting world. So I don't know how much different it's going to be compared to other Dark Souls games. Like, I feel like it's just going to be bigger, so you get a horse and that's about it. which is
like
fine.
Every company says that now. They use that as like low-hanging fruit buzzword, like open world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think you talked about that before. They just all throw that out there.
Here's what I'm worried about. Like, what I loved about the Soul series so far, when I'm playing Dark Souls Remastered and Bloodborne, is that all the levels are interconnected somehow. Somewhere or another, they're connected. That's what I loved about it the most. So as soon as you open the door and you're like right back where you started, like, oh, I know this place. And
That's
it's
the
kind
best
of
part
cool.
about Dark Souls 1 is the world of Dark Souls is like you could take there's like a 3D map that someone extracted of how it looks, and it's like it's absolutely incredible the way
It's
that they designed
genius. Absolutely
the
genius.
connectivity of being able to go through, you know, just the Hydra area, the forest, and you've got you know all that stuff down by Quelaag. There's just so much that you can do to like just cut time out, and I don't think we've seen anything close to that attempted.
So that's what makes me worry when Elden Ring says open world. It's like, okay, are you talking about open world like as far as Dark Souls standards, or like open world is like generic gaming standard? Because we all like that interconnecting levels that are going on in the Soul series.
So the
Right,
director
because-
said there's a big hub area, and then you've got that branches out into like 6 areas. Now there's interconnectivity in between those, but you have like a centralized hub, you know, main forest, who knows what it's going to be.
Dude, you know what I'm thinking? I'm literally thinking the map from Ocarina of Time. Like, you're gonna have like Hyrule Castle, and then it's just gonna branch out to each little corner of a place, and then they'll have like little interconnects between them.
That's exactly what it's going to be.
And then like one big open field.
I'm 100% fine with that, because that works. That I know what I'm getting. I'm like, oh, I'm going to the water temple, and then I find out there's a place from the water temple down to like Roaring Village. Yeah, like I will get behind that in the Dark Souls world, dude. Like that's. And dude,
I feel like that's what it's gonna be.
The combat looks fucking amazing.
It's Souls
Like,
combat. I mean, that's the best part about the games. It's just it feels so good to play.
Like Monster Hunter's like playing Dark Souls bosses over and over and over again, but Dark Souls and like the Soul series of Bloodborne, that's like playing the Soul series and the Bloodborne series. Like
No way.
Yeah.
They're that good. They're in the top 1% echelon of video games, and like people like to like argue about, is Bloodborne better than Dark Souls, or is this better than this? It doesn't really matter if you're in the 1%, if you're arguing over like who's gonna be at the top of it, right? Like you're still better than 99% of literally every other game out there. From Software in the past couple of years has not made a bad game. You know what I'm saying? Like they haven't made a bad one. Everything's sold well. They just keep building, and they're listening to their player base, refining on the formula. I mean, you can look at what happened with Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 just to see how much they actually do listen. You can look at what they've tried to do with, you know, showing us stuff with Elden Ring. I mean, they literally took everything we wanted. They were like, oh, what do you guys want in your Dark Souls game? Give us a horse, okay? What else do you guys want? Make it
our
bigger.
asses.
All right,
Yeah,
cool.
make it bird bigger.
And what else? Give us the thing from part 2 that you guys took out where you have like all the cool weapon stances. All right, good. Here you guys
Wait,
go.
do they have that? There's a power stancing back in?
Yes, that's back. Yes.
Oh,
So,
shit.
Oh, that's
it's
cool.
weapon arts. It's weapon arts. So you get to select what you have for your weapon. Like, so I haven't seen like the specifics on it yet, but they said the context was weapon arts that you get to choose.
Okay,
So,
so
like-
weapon arts from Dark Souls 3, but you get to like basically toggle which ones you have.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Like
neat.
a system. Well, I mean, I took it as like weapon arts, power stancing, like combination. Like I just figured like they had a fully customizable weapon system that seems like it was like vastly deeper than we saw in the previous series.
You know
That'd be
what
super
would be,
cool.
you know what would be nice to have? Since I'm almost done with Bloodborne, I just killed the Orphan of Cause just last night. Tough
Nice.
motherfucker. He was tough, but just when
He wasn't as tough as the fishing hamlet getting to him.
those big old fishes that come after you, dude. Oh no, dude. But the build that I have in Bloodborne is just greatsword, just the Ludwig's greatsword. That's what I'm using. That no paper fire, no electric fire, and no countering cause. Just went in there and start swinging unga boonga. So I just got done with him last night. But what I love about Bloodborne is how your weapons, every weapon is 2 weapons essentially, because they can transform.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if that's something we can also see in Elden Ring, because I just think
Probably
that's just
will. I
fantastic.
mean-
Or just like a stance. You have different stances, like almost kind of like a Neo thing where you have like you'd have like high low with each weapon, but not necessarily that, but just like you use your weapon in 2 different ways kind of thing.
Yeah.
That'd be
So-
kind of neato.
Yeah,
I'm wondering
it
if they're
is-
gonna have the same weapon system as Dark Souls. You know, there's set weapons that I mean, that are in, it's not like, Neo where you have like Diablo style like random stats on stuff, and it's just like, weapons are, dime a dozen. Like, because in Dark Souls, when you find a weapon, you're like, oh shit, new weapon, and you gotta try it out. I wonder if they're gonna still do that, where there's a very specific set amount of weapons in very specific places in the world.
I'm for that. I'm fine with that. And I just want to be able to like grab one of those weapons and then customize it. Like if I can do that and then start like, having like a very unique skill set, or 1 out of 5 skill set, something like that. Like that just makes me feel even better because that's
just make your own build.
Like if they did it so they kind of split Dark Souls and Bloodborne, where like, yeah, you have a weapon and it's got sockets like Bloodborne where you can put different gems to change its attributes and stuff, and then you select its weapon art. So you have your own weapon with your own gems and your own weapon art. We got a neato.
Yeah,
make your own synergy kind of thing.
Yeah,
exactly. We just need software to merge Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Just
Chalice dungeons. I need more Chalice dungeons. It's the best part about Bloodborne.
All that content that they just left in the game and like didn't use. Like, have you guys ever looked at like all the content that like was still in the game for like the Souls or the Bloodborne series? Like the hidden stuff in the Chalice dungeons that people were able to like fucking find a way to juxtapose.
They're still finding new fucking shit. It's been like a decade.
They found something 2 years later after the last thing, and that was like a while ago. And
that's amazing.
Did you like the whole thing with Dark Souls 3? Like they were supposed to be able to alter like the time, like the day and night. Like there was like a cycle you were supposed to be able to impact, and then there was a couple of things that Lance McDonald showed with like dragons or like spirits flying around that like normally weren't there. Like there's so much that like I'm curious on like what they wanted to do and what they left on the cutting room floor, because we only know what we're guessing, like what these things were supposed to do. There was like that one snake monster too. I think that was Bloodborne, the big snake creature that was hidden in the code still, that someone was working on getting like rewritten to like actually be fucking fightable and not just like stand there and do nothing.
That's why we need it on the PC. Get all that shit out there.
Yeah.
Well, we're still coping for the day that Bloodborne can be ported over to PC.
It's not.
It's not gonna happen.
I like Souls a lot more than I like the Bloodborne series, but like I get why people dig Bloodborne. I happen to think that I wish they did more about. For me, if they did more about the hunters, like as a group and like the communion and like the dog, I would get behind that. Like if you had like a deeper game where it was like, more involved with like more hunters, like more of them being like pillars in the storyline for bosses, or because I mean I think we all agree the Old Hunter DLC was one of the best DLCs.
Yeah,
bar none. Like that was a hey, this is what you should get when you pay for more stuff in a game.
Yes. Well, I think that's all the Dark Souls.
Than the old stuff.
Like all FromSoft's DLCs are really fucking good, and they're either like free when because like Dark Souls 1, it came out on PC free with the Artorias of the Abyss DLC. It was like $40 or whatever for the game and the DLC, and like the actual DLC itself on like consoles was like $20 or something. And the same for Bloodborne, like Old Hunters was like $20, or you could just buy it, kind of like what they do with Monster Hunter. It's like the actual game plus the DLC for just $40 or something. Like their DLCs are really fucking good, and they're not like a lot of games are coming out with a bunch of like $10 DLCs or like $40 expansions and stuff, and it's like in there like a couple maps and some little things. Like they're huge amount of content in these games. Like Dark Souls 2 DLCs and Scholars of the First Sin was fucking amazing, and I think those were like $5 or $10 a piece when they first came out.
They were cheap. They were cheap for the Three Kings. They were cheap at first. Yep.
And they're huge. There's so much there's so many bosses and equipment and areas to go through.
I was gonna say with DS2, I'm not a fan of the base game. I'll be honest, completely not a fan of the base game. But
nobody was.
Nobody is, but everybody always says like, do the DLC, Fume Night, dude, Fume Night. You gotta try it, and so on. And I'm like, I'm sat here, like, because there's nothing going on with Monster Hunter, and I'm thinking, I gotta try it, because I loved the Dark Souls 1 remastered DLC. Like, when Artoria shows up for the first time and just spears that guy through the face, I'm sat here like, all right, I'm 12 years old. This is fucking amazing. Let's go, And it is, and what was it? 4 whole boss fights. So you get Sanctuary, Artorias, Manus, and then Calamite.
Yeah.
In this amazing new area that you recognize from the main game for, like you said, $20. give or take, and then you get the whole thing for 40 with the base game.
Yeah.
Just insane. Absolutely insane.
Well, dude,
I remember him being a gear check too, Sanctuary Guardian. Like I remember,
Yeah.
like, I was dead, and like right away, you were like just getting killed. You were like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And then when you finish
Okay.
that DLC, you get the 2 Sanctuary Guardian fight,
Yes.
and it's
Yes.
just like, have fun, man.
Yeah, you go
Yeah.
back and you're like, oh yeah, let me check this. There's 2 of them now. Shit. Yeah.
See, that's why I like the old Hunter DLC so much, because throughout the whole game it was pretty much of a cakewalk. I got a lot of first tries in there. I go walking in there in Hunter's Nightmare thinking, it's just give me a piece of cake, and I got my ass handed to me on a silver platter just
On
from
the
the
first Hunter?
boss. Yes, on the first Hunter that just comes in there. It's like, oh, who are you?
Well, because you're not expecting to fight hunters, like,
No.
because there was like 2 or 3 of them in the base game that you fought, like in the
Yeah.
Hunter's Nightmare, or I mean the Nightmare Frontier and stuff. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But like all the DLC, there's just those guys all over the place. You're like, and they
I
have all the
love
new
it.
weapons, and you're like, what the fuck? And yeah, it's crazy stuff.
I
They're
love
aggressive.
that every
They go
single time,
through
because
things
there's
aggressive.
nothing more challenging for me than fighting other hunters than there is beasts.
Mhm.
Especially when you get to meet Maria. Oh, dude, that fight was incredible.
Mhm.
That's one of the best ones I ever had.
Wait, it's cool.
I think Ring City DLC might be my favorite one from Software, just because it's very rare for them to introduce a character so late that like I actually can get behind, because I'm a big fan of like storytelling and movies, and so I'm a bit of a cinephile, and like I really get behind like dialogue and meaning.
Yeah.
And even though Uncle Gale doesn't have the longest storyline by far, and he doesn't have the most amount of vehicle-driven dialogue to help him kind of push the story along, the depth to what that character says and the depth to what that character showcases for the series and the lore dating back to like Dark Souls 1 is actually pretty fucking epic when you think about it. I mean, this guy was literally supposed to be dragon fodder, like literally just thrown in so the dragon just breathed fire on it so they could like shoot arrows, just literally supposed to die. And then you go through the DLC and you find out that this character has he made it through that, and then he's done everything that you've done basically, and gets to the end of time before you, kills everything that you were supposed to kill, all these people that you could have interacted with, absorbed all their energy, and he literally has not like been defeated. Like it's unique to see them highlight something so frail, and I think it kind of does a parallel to the Pygmy storyline, kind of like, hey, yeah, he kind of just took a little piece and then became mankind, or whatever, however you want to translate that lore. I really think that the part of him being the uncle to Freed, really, and Arendelle or whatever it is,
The painter girl, yeah.
the painter girl.
I
I
don't
don't think that really matters too much outside of like the idea of maybe she created the world of Bloodborne with the last paint, when she's using the blood or whatever.
Mhm.
I think that when they show him kind of get powered up by it too, I will say that's probably one of the most unique transformations that I've seen in a video game that I did not expect. I did not expect that little frail, old guy who I've seen like just kind of make it through time, slowly hack away at shit, to then become one of the coolest looking things that I've seen in like, a long time. That was a unique
Chad.
visual representation that was very meme worthy, that fucking is well done.
Mhm.
I mean, I think that's probably one of the best fights in the entire series.
Yeah, Slave Knight Gale's a crazy fucking good fight. Well, Dark Souls 3 has a lot of really good fights.
It does.
Gamers, what do you prefer? Do you like the slow pace of Dark Souls or the fast pace of Bloodborne?
I like them
What's your
both, man. I like the
Like
story and
both?
the world of it. That's why I play
don't-
those games.
I don't consider the pace to be the difference. I think the setting is more the thing.
Absolutely, it is. That's exactly what it is.
Like-
You're looking at.
I like the fantasy setting. That's cool. Like Dark Souls is great, but I'm such a huge fan of gothic horror because there's not very many games that dive into that
Yeah.
stuff, and so I prefer
There's not.
Bloodborne. The combat, it feels similar enough that the only difference is the pacing, and that's
Yeah.
I don't even
It's the
consider
pacing.
that. It's just I like the settings so much more.
I would like to thank Monster Hunter for getting me ready for the Dark Souls series.
I think Monster
Yeah.
Hunter is harder than Dark Souls. For sure.
Well, that I definitely came into that point because remember when everybody just blew up when the Latron first came out in Monster Hunter Iceborne, and people were signing petitions left and right to nerf
The bad
it,
people
and I'm
did
just
that.
sitting there like,
Nobody who was good said the Latreon. Nobody who had a problem with the Latreon if you were good. Nobody cared.
No.
We just like,
I've
this is
never
wow.
seen. I have never seen a more obvious example of the fact that probably 60% of the Monster Hunter community can't read. How many times does the game say to you, "Hey, use element," and they're like,
Blast is an element.
yes,
Game
blast
balls
is an
do
element."
damage, and everyone still likes to write on Reddit every day about how that's not how they should play the game and how they shouldn't be told and pigeonholed in the meta stuff, blah blah blah.
It was great.
It's like the developers are literally telling you how to play the game, and they're like,
Right.
"I'm not going to be
Well,
told."
and like the lead up was so obvious because
Yeah.
this is the first Monster Hunter game where literally every weapon had an element on it. Awakened or not, every weapon has an element. Like you always have an element. Yeah, some weapons had status, but there was always something attached to a weapon. And it's like, yeah, so you could have picked any other weapon besides a blast weapon and would have been fine. But everyone's like, no, Raging Brachydios weapons. I don't
And
want to
then-
match elements or know what his weak points are.
And here's the best part is how passive aggressive the studio was when they were tweeting 12 different builds for each
dude.
weapon. How to beat a Latron. Put on an elemental weapon and then some
Wasn't
shitty build
the-
after that.
Wasn't the whole thing as well, like 2 weeks after Latreon came out, we had Master Rank Kulf come back or something? We had
Yeah.
either Kulf or Safi come back, and the social media was literally like, hey, car weapons, Safi weapons, element, hint, hint, and nobody fucking listened. It's ridiculous. Absolutely
then-
ridiculous.
We have Giga Hunters that were killing a Latron so easily, and then one of them killed him with a bug.
Kanta,
Just to shut everyone up.
just because bug.
Just to shut everyone up. I killed the Latron with a bug.
You ever think about
The-
that, like how big the disparity is between the people that play that game and the player base? So you literally have like a massive chunk playing the game incorrectly and being shitty at it, and then arguing with everyone how they're not shitty and it's not their fault, and you guys are all toxic elitists for telling them how to play. But then you've got all these other players who just literally don't adhere to any of those conversations, play the game using some of those things, and they literally fly through the game. Like, it's very funny to see this. Like, I've talked to them about this all the time, every day in the podcast usually.
It's
like
crazy.
Well, it's why we have
you
such
do
a
something wrong.
split in the Monster Hunter community. Like like a lot of people, a lot of the other side like to think that the Monster Hunter community is like super nice and like it's like the best community around. It's fucking not. There's just a huge wall between two halves of the community that don't talk to each other or do nothing but sling shit out of each other.
Well, think of
It's
it
a
this
video
way.
game community.
Yeah.
It's never, like...
Yeah, it's a video game
You don't
community.
understand
Talks about what some of them do, what a lot of what the player base is like. What that equates to is imagine playing basketball, and every time you shot, you just hit somebody's fucking car windshield. Like that's what it is to play the game casually, and how they're like, it's not my fault that I'm doing 8% DPS and you guys are optimized and doing 900 and blah blah blah. And I'm like, it actually is 100% your fault. You're the only difference between me and you. We have the exact same gear, and you're choosing to play in whatever facet you do. There's not like. I guess I could say at the upper echelon, there's some more depth to the game, but I mean, going into a fight properly, having everything queued up, so you're buffing quickly, so you're not taking 2 minutes to do shit to get to a mon, and then staying on top of a mon, attacking instead of running around. Like, I don't understand how these concepts still haven't fit in. Like,
Well,
I still don't get it.
and
Like,
so-
it boggles my mind, man. My kids know that if you're playing a video game, they're 2 and 5 to kill the monster. Like, that's your job, is kill it. Not sit in the corner and play a song. Not tell
Corner
people you're
tutor.
healing. Not tell them because of you can do X, Y, Z. Not say, hey, I'm doing whatever. Like, it's literally to do the game right and exist in the environment that you're created in the game and fucking kill the thing. So I don't know. I know we always talk about it and it comes back to it, but I get lost in the mentality of some of these players sometimes.
Well, and that's why I really like a couple of the other Monster Hunter streamos, and like Ramos is a perfect example. You don't have to be a speedrunner to be good at the game. You just have to have a brain. That's all you gotta do. All you gotta do is stop and think and learn and pattern recognize, and then you're fine. You don't have to be best of the best. You don't have to try hard meta. Like, the difference between a good average person and like a speed run and like in these more recent Monster Hunter fights is like a minute off your kill time. It's not that big of a deal. Like, you can casually play really good as long as you're actually, going out of your way to learn and try and be better.
And that's what I was talking about when I was saying there not being that much depth outside of at the top where you're getting like that 1 minute variance. Like, it's just doing it right. You, me, Ramos, Sarah, we're all starting the fight the same way with the same weapon. We probably have the same gear setup. We're probably rolling the dice for the same RNG spawn. We're probably going, most of the time, that's what it is. It's someone figures out the optimal way because there's only so many avenues you can go down in this game. And then it's just about execution and just sticking to the plan. So we're at however many iterations of the series, and yet we still have people making mistakes and justifying that if you call it out, you're toxic. And if you play video games bad, it's okay. I'm here to tell you right now, chat, that is not true, and that's the exact opposite.
Participation trophies, man.
If people tell you that you're playing a video game badly, I don't know, you probably aren't doing it very well. I have never seen anybody play video games good. They got told they were bad at it.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
That's not true. There's a bunch of one-off situations we could touch on, but that, you know what I mean.
But that's the thing, isn't it? It's the people who deliberately choose not to do an effective route because that's seen as the speedrunners route, and they think they're special for it. If we're gonna, if we use Alatreon here as an example, the breaking point for me were people whining and bitching about the elemental check, and then Kanta goes, "Hey, I have 20 snowballs. Look, he fell over." After seeing that little investment, that tiny thing, achieve this impossible check that the game's telling you how to do, it is just down to the stubbornness of people who don't want to adapt. And there's only so much you can do with that conversation. You say if you literally just change to an ice bug or throw some snowballs, you can beat this impossible check. And they're like, yeah, but I shouldn't have to. I'm like, the game tells you right at the start, some monsters take more damage from elements, you may want to adapt. That's I'm sure that's in the tutorial somewhere.
And specifically for the tutorial for the Electron, there's a big window that says, hey, you need an elemental weapon. Like, okay, if you acknowledge this.
Different NPCs who show up and say,
I was about to say that.
So elemental doesn't work, and you've got the entire Fifth Fleet screaming at you from the sidebar, and you're like, nah, I'll bring poison for this. Yeah, that seems like a good
one level deeper, because it's not only on the Elatreon thing and built into the game. There were plenty of posts, and this is where it gets great. Here we go. Where people were saying, "I've been playing this game 10 years," and you're like, "And you're that bad still?" What the fuck?
That's like somebody going into a public bathroom, pissing on the wall, and saying, "Well, I've done it this way for 10 years. What's wrong with that?"
That's a good analogy for it.
A lot of things for a long time, but they wouldn't say they're good at them if they're not good. I don't know why people in Monster Hunter say, "I've been playing this game since Monster Hunter Unite GU11." You're like, all right, and what what do you enjoy about it? Well, I enjoy playing off meta stuff, but you're like, okay, so you suck at the game. All right,
that's just the excuse. Yeah.
Yeah, but Phemeto,
that's what
you said it best.
It's an excuse, and then it becomes, well, you're attacking me, you're toxic, and then you got all of us laughing, having a good time, just enjoying the game, even when we fail at it, really, really building something out, and then they just try to justify how it's, someone who's good versus someone who's bad. It's just haterade. It's just a six-pack of haterade.
Basically, but Phemeto, you said it best, is recognizing the patterns. Is just studying what the monster's doing, what the attacks are doing, and what your motion values is, and see, can I hit this attack when the monster does this, and start just rinse and repeat, start learning the movesets of the monster. But do they want to do that? No. I think for them it's more effective. Let me go on Twitter, let me put on some idiotic post about how I've been playing this game for a long time. Me and my 4 friends are we're apex hunters, and we can't pass this, so we're just quitting the game. All right, just go and quit. I'm just gonna go away and bring in a cheap ass weapon with a little bit of elemental and kill it. I'll start 2 times. I'll still kill it though.
You can also do it without elemental weapons.
If you're good enough, you can put out enough DPS.
Just take the cart. Who cares?
Take the cart.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you got 3 of them, 4 if you get your insurance.
And if you bring your cat, that's another 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You just
There's no
sit there and
excuse,
take
basically.
through them.
They don't want to.
People don't really have the brain capacity, which is fun.
And yet, I'm Unga Boonga, Elatron and Fatalis, and I still get them killed. I mean, I get killed too, but it's the job.
You get the job done. Yeah.
A kill is a kill no matter what.
That was my
having fun with it.
favorite thing about the Fatalis thing, though, was watching Phoenix, or Faye now, solo Elatreon with a bow, which is arguably one of the harder weapons to do it with. But
She did that for like
I
a
can
while
attest
as
for that.
well.
yeah, she spent like a week on it. But I mean, Faye's not the best player around. She knows that. But she is not dumb, and she learned the patterns and buckled down and got it done. And now she does it like all the time.
I had respect for someone actually just being like, "Hey, I'm gonna prove a point." Like that's so baller. That's so baller to just
It is.
with a
That's the whole
harder
point.
weapon too. You know what I mean? Like, that throws a lot. Like especially because she's female. I mean, we could probably touch on that. You know, they don't get enough credit for what they do, and I'm gonna have to deal with those conversations with my daughter. So you know, that's kind of an open subject for me. And she just shit on everybody. Like that's pretty fucking cool, dude.
And
you know?
I can
You're
attest
not a
for that.
gamer. You're not a real whatever. And she just blasted all those motherfuckers. She was like,
Training
nailed them.
montage.
She never gave up on them, which is respectable in that part, because I can attend that if you go up against Fatalis with the bow, doesn't matter if you have the highest gear, all upgrade and stuff. If you use bow with Fatalis, not only his weak points on the set is garbage when it comes to anything that's ranged weapons.
Yep.
You get one shot. Just
It doesn't matter.
and you're done.
Yeah,
Just
if
a
your armor
tiny
means
little
nothing.
flame, little ember, and you get carded. Because when I was trying to do Fatalis, which I was using a full silver Rathalos gear, and just I think it was the Kajar bow on it, and that's all I was using to kill Fatalis. And it took me about a solid 4 hours of non-stop trying to learn the attacks and how to use bow effectively to finally kill it. But no, it is infuriating that he just goes, and you're carded. That's it.
Yep.
That's not an easy thing to do, and for Faye to do it and never gave up on it, she says to all the haters, I don't care what you think, I'm gonna do this. And that's exactly what she did. She got the job done.
Didn't cry on
It's the
Reddit.
difference in it's the difference in mindset as well. Like you said, fam, Faye, and not to speak for her, but Faye knows that she's not a speed runner. She's not she's a casual player, and she goes, but I know I can do it. I'm gonna learn. She didn't, like you say, do a paragraph on Reddit, bitch and moan about it, because the time you spend bitching and moaning could be time you spend sitting down and just
Getting good. Get good. Just sit down
When
and
you
get
say
good.
the
So
term
let's
speedrunner,
all cheers
my
to the
ears
people
bleed.
who have that kind of mindset that don't actually just give up. Just instead of learning the fight, they just go on Twitter and complain, but others just sit down and actually learn the fight. So cheers to them.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm out of my mama, so I need a new one.
A lot of booze too, but I gotta drive, so a little bit.
All right.
So, yeah. Jen, how much longer do you got before you got to piece out of here?
Like 10, 15.
Okay,
And-
so let's get Jen out of the way. So Jen, other than Elden Ring, is there anything else that you're looking forward to gaming wise that's coming up, or what are your plans?
So we got Baldur's Gate 3 coming out. I think God of War Ragnarok's going to be great. I think, those are some things that we're going to have to just sit off on. I saw some things that I thought I'd be more excited about, like the combination from the XCOM studio for the X-Men game. Was it like Sun?
Yeah,
Didn't look as good as I
I
thought.
forget what it
not
was
gonna lie to you.
called. Something, Suns.
Midnight Sun, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. That one kind of fell off my radar right there. Tales of Arise is super dope. I just started that up, and like I said, since I only got like 3 days to play a week, that's gonna give me a little bit of time. What else, dude? What else is coming out, man?
Battlefield.
No.
Jen's not into
the first 3 days,
shooters.
so you
I
can't
like
log
it.
in. Like, when did
It's
they
not.
ever
Well,
have
it's not
successful Battlefield
on.
launch?
It's not on Origin anymore. It's not on EA shit. It's on Steam.
I don't care. They'll find a way to fuck it up.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah, well.
But-
But
No
the
problem.
point is just to be a total asshole and just fucking around with it. That's my thing about it.
Yeah.
Whenever the last Battlefield launch I played, I remember just like fucking, like, so I finally got in, like after I don't remember how many login attempts, and then I think I just like flashbanged everybody at the spawn points on my own team, and then I just logged off. Like I was like, I'm done here. Like this is
I mean,
my work. is
what
done.
online game has a successful launch ever? Like literally ever.
Kingdom of Amalur. Oh wait, no, that's.
Yeah.
Whoops. Sorry, Rhode Island. 76 million. My bad.
That game totally worked out.
Dude, they planned on making that like the MMO. They were trying. I mean, they had R.A. Salvatore do all that writing for it, and then they like tried to build it out. Like, I think someone finally bought the assets for like $1.3 million.
Yeah, it was. Was it not Cryptic? Was it Cryptic? Yeah,
Was it shilling again? Was it?
it was the same people who do Darksiders and stuff. They bought it.
Nordic.
Yeah,
Is it
Nordic. There
Nordic?
you go. Yeah, Nordic bought it. Yeah, so something might happen because after they bought it, they re-released the remaster for the PC. So I mean, it's not like a dead franchise anymore. So who knows?
I wanted to ask.
Man, I need Metroid Prime 4. We need to get some video.
It's not happening. Okay, and here's the thing about the Metroid. Dread looks great.
It is fucking
yeah. Dread looks cool, but here's my problem. All the Metroid games up until now, like most of them been on like the 3DS, the DS, all that stuff, were like $30. And that's fine because they're like 10-hour games tops. I'm just afraid that we're gonna get like a 5-hour Metroid game for like $60 on the Switch just because it's on the Switch. And I'm like,
they'll fuck it up if they do that. They better not try that shit.
I feel like it's not gonna. It'll be like Fusion, where like you'll be able to run through it in a couple hours, and then you'll be like, okay, and that was now twice as much.
Here's the thing that I don't think that's gonna happen exactly to that, because they were making Metroid 4 at one point, and they came out and say, hey, we were working on it, yes, but we're scratching it. It's not living up to
it 3 times.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And so I think they're giving us this game as just like a consolation prize. Like, okay, we're gonna have Dread because 4 is not happening for God knows how long. And I feel like this might have been like, okay, yeah, here's a very rushed Metroid game that's not going to be very long. It looks cool. It looks great. I'm sure it's going to play fine. But it looks just like the Metroid 2 remake on the 3DS, just, as like a Switch game.
And somehow I'm okay with that. I need something. Everyone
Metroid wants something. That's fine. I just hope it's longer because I don't want it to be like a 5-hour game that,
we're at a point now where there's enough to do in the gaming community where, like, if you make a bad game, like you get a sour taste in my mouth, I'm probably not coming back for you. Like, I think Monster Hunter will still get the day one buy, even though I literally played stories, spent $60 on it, and played it for one day. I still think I'll get whatever the next Monster Hunter game is for $60 because I have the idea in my head that it's going to be nothing but great boss after great boss after great boss.
And there's no bad Monster Hunter game per se. Like, every person still dumps like 100-something hours into it. You can't say it's a bad game if you put 100 hours into a game. Not bad. Well, it's just you have to compare it to the other games.
You can, and here's why. So when you look at Rise, and you look at what we thought we were going to get to, we didn't get there. Like the people who put in time into Rise, like, and still are, like, I mean, you guys know it. Like, there's there's nobody truly competing for Rise anymore. It's more because like people are just kind of waiting around for something else to do. And I think that Rise should have kept being built out. Instead, they're working on Monster Hunter 6. They would put assets towards Stories 2, all that stuff. I just don't. I don't know, man.
And Rise itself isn't even a bad game. I keep telling people this. It's not that Rise is bad. It's the Switch that's bad. Because it runs like shit, and it plays like shit because it's on the Switch. Like, it's literally just that. But here's the problem. Yeah, we all want the PC version to come out because that includes mods and fixes and all sorts of things. But my problem is by the time the PC version comes out, it's going to be next year. Who's going to fucking care? We're going to have Elden Ring and Battlefield and Pokerman and God knows what else. Like, is anyone going to want to revisit Rise?
Not only that, are we gonna get version 1 Rise on PC? That's like we're gonna have to do the whole thing all over again.
It's a dead sentence. If they do what they did with PC, like they did with World, and they release like the base version, and then you have like these 2 offsetting event schedules, no one's gonna touch it. I mean, no one's gonna play it anyways, but.
And it's not even like Iceborne where they're like, oh no, they'll all catch up and they'll be alongside because there has to actually be something to catch up to. It's there's 3 updates, here's Valstrax, a month later, you're gonna get some stickers. Like,
wait. What if this is why they're stagnating on the Switch? So that way, when PC releases, there's not much to catch up to. They're just day one.
That's a bad margin.
I don't think they're gonna do. They're probably not gonna add anything until like the G-Rank expansion for Rise.
They got shareholders they got to take care of right now during the pandemic. Everyone's trying to push those dollars up. If they got content, they're shoving it out right now. That's why you guys got fucking stickers.
Yeah, that's why we got stickers. That's why we have the roadmap for Stories 2 that's already in the game that they're going to be releasing anyways. That's also why we're going to get the Stories 2 G-Ring expansion. And then, we'll have PC Rise, and that'll be enough to carry them for a bit.
Yeah. Can we get shirts made that says, like, Asterisk was right? Can we, like, get that?
I can get shirts made, yeah.
And then on the back it says, Jim was right about fucking the charms. Fuck all of you. And we just get that in smaller text.
Sure. We can do that. Just for you, Jen.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll get those made.
Well, speaking of other games, Jin, you're primarily into Pokemon, right? That's usually your main thing. Are you
Right
even
now,
gonna
man,
get the
there's nothing else competitive.
True? Are you even gonna bother with the remakes, Jim?
No,
for
they're
remakes?
trash. There's no competitiveness to it. Well, I'm not going to spend $60 for old graphics on nothing. Like, they're going to bring the new mons into Sword and Shield because they're keeping the VGC scene on the newest gen. So I don't need to do anything because they're just going to bring the new, whatever new mons get added. There's like a new Arcanine, which looks kind of cool. They're going to just bring it to the new generation. I don't have to worry about it. I'm not interested in playing Pokemon for its nostalgic attempt at a story because the Pokemon story literally fits into 8 paragraphs on almost every single game, and it's not good.
It's the
I
same
played
story
the
for every game.
Same story.
There's a few paragraphs with some typos in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
I do
played
the
for
same
game
story
and
since
competitive.
Ruby and Sapphire. That's it.
I'm probably one of the only people that was actually interested in Legends of Arceus because everyone is just shitting on it so bad. But I'm like, it's the only thing I've wanted on Pokemon is that it's got a different combat system and it's just taken like a step away from the mold of what every fucking Pokemon game is. And it could be bad. Who knows? It could be bad, sure, but it's different, and that's all I care about.
I'm optimistic because the formula finally changed after how much since it came out in 1995.
Yeah.
So the formula is finally changing, and if it flops, they tried. All right, if it crashes and burns, at least they fucking tried for that.
It's going to crash and burn. It is going to fucking Paul Walker the shit out of itself. It is going to be inflamed.
You think it's gonna be that bad? Why?
Because no one's going to pick it up. No, like there's no purpose to it. It's only going to have a small player base that's attracted to, the people that bought the games before. I don't see a bunch of kids running out for it because it's not a newer or better looking one. I think it's just a cash grab while they get ready for whatever else. I think the company got hit by the pandemic like everyone else did. Everything got delayed by a year or two, in some sense, at every single company, I think they're all just kind of figuring out how to process through it, and I think this is kind of something that was easy for them. Because these games weren't made by Game Freak. Mm-hmm. These games are third-party games. They're made by their outsourced.
Very bad guys.
Yeah, that's actually okay for me though, because Game Freak hasn't done anything in forever.
Yeah, the further away Game Freak get from the remakes, the better. I'm kind of optimistic about the remakes to be at least fun, but I can see where you're coming from, Jim, with the competitive aspect. Even though for some reason they removed Dynamaxing in the most recent VGC, I saw that. They went, hey, here's this new mechanic in Sword and Shield. Can't use it.
So it's just 2v2?
It's 2v2.
Yeah, there's still doubles, but now there's also one restricted involved, which actually is really bad.
Well, that's just Zacian, right? That's just
yeah,
like you're allowed one Zacian.
It ruins everything.
Yeah. Steel Fairy, dude, broken.
Some of these mods should never have been meant to be in competitive play, and it's like, I don't know how you could even, Zacian is just beyond broken, with the ability to come in, have a +1 attack right away, and then it's typing, and then it's stats. You can't give someone, it's literally the best mod in the game, by far. It's absurd, so.
Crazy. Couldn't believe it when I saw it. But no, the Legends Arceus I think looks brilliant. It'll be a breath of fresh air, and to be honest, if it's the first time they're doing something like this, there's going to be a lot of shit in it. It's not going to be something they would have practiced and done over and over. But it's like you say, Fem, it's different. It's something that if it doesn't work out, at least it would be an IP that just done differently. And I think that's.
Well, and some third-party Pokemon games have been pretty good, like Conquest. If you guys didn't play,
Conquest is dope.
Conquest is really good. Pokken flopped super hard, but I believe that was more on them not balancing and updating and maintaining the game properly, because it was cool on paper.
But Pokken was just absolutely trash.
I like the idea on paper. Yeah, it's a Pokemon fighting game, great. But then it was just bad. They just did not do it right. So. What other third-party Pokemon games were there? Does a Stadium a third-party Pokemon game?
Would Colosseum count?
Sorry, what did you say?
Or was it, Colosseum or Gale of Darkness? I know there are a few older ones back.
DX, Gale of Darkness or whatever. That was really good. They don't do a whole lot of third-party Pokemon stuff. Mystery Dungeon. Mystery Dungeon's great.
Oh, yeah. So, I heard the new one didn't go over too well, but the previous ones were really good.
The DS ones were pretty good. But yeah, so third-party Pokemon games aren't necessarily bad by default, but I mean, this one looks, we'll see.
Well, what's interesting is that I had to move my car because the garbage truck was coming in, right? So he at least was kind enough to like honk at me so I can go out and move my car. So to thank him, I gave him an extra copy of Monster Hunter Rise and he said no thanks. So I just came back here.
They just threw it in the garbage truck.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a good rest of the episode. Thank you to everybody for having me on here today. I'll be here next week with Fem, and we're gonna keep bringing this to you every week. I just got to go take care of some kid stuff.
For
Love
sure.
and appreciate each and every one of you. Sarah, Ramos, God bless you. I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday. I'll see you guys all soon.
All right.
All
Peace,
right,
Jin.
and you handsome nerd, get out of here.
But they're like,
All right.
shut up.
We're good to continue. But yeah, that baked beans thing, that's kind of interesting. I don't know what the problem. Like, I'll eat fucking anything for breakfast.
Why?
Yeah.
Is it because there's a wind orchestra after this, or what's going on?
Yeah.
Is that why they go feral?
They can't. Yeah, they can't deal with it. No, it's. I think it's just an American food difference. I explained. Oh yeah, this is what it's done. We have it on toast, and they're like, "You're an animal. England is an animal place." But
I know, I've always
yeah.
seen English breakfast, and I think it looks pretty good. I mean, it's literally
They're
the same
always good
thing
too.
as an American breakfast. We have beans and tomato as well.
Yeah. I don't get it. But I've got friends of mine, American friends of mine, who just want to kill me every time I speak about English food. They're like, "That's not food." I'm like, "Okay, enjoy
I'm
your
over
corn
here-
syrup."
I'm over here eating breakfast tacos.
Breakfast tacos
Yeah,
are
well,
good.
that's just the right choice to make. Like that sounds delicious. So.
So, Sarah, I wanted to ask you, how's the Nuzlocke for storage coming along?
Dude, I got hit with burnout hard on that one. I really wanted to do that because
Stories 1 or Stories 2?
Stories 2.
Okay.
I still haven't finished my Stories 2 one. Stories 1 Nuzlocke, amazing, bunch of fun,
was
really like stressful, which
Because
is
it's
kind of what you
random,
want.
is the thing. It's
Yeah. Stories 2, on the other hand, you get to the second village, you do all the stuff there, you fight the Bizarrius, I think you go see a Nagakuga or something, and then Alwyn wants to fight you. That fight in the RTA speedrun, I was talking to Joel Bagel about this, that fight is actually so difficult at that point in the game, you just take a loss there, because it's
Yeah.
faster for the RTA. In a Nuzlocke, though, that is just, you either have to be... Yeah, you have to have grinded out a bunch of dens with the rules that we've got, or it's just a team wipe. So I think right now my PC file, which is the Nuzlocke one, stands at, I think the glitch dungeon I got survived because I went that far. I've got a Paolumu, and then I think a Bizarria sat around just doing nothing, and I still haven't leveled those up yet. But no, this was just after playing through stories and then making a bunch of like end game bingo boards and so on, and then I went back in to replay the same game like after a week's break, and I went, "Ugh, I can't do this," because it was just a lot. It was a lot of burnout. Like Fen was saying at the start, you know, we went from World constantly updated to Iceborne constantly updated, then Rise, you know, happened, and then Stories, and now it's kind of like a lot of people are feeling the burnout.
Don't forget For You, right after World or Iceborne, we have For You that came out again for the.
You mean
Switch.
GU?
But not For You, GU.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Say For You? Finally. Nah.
It was
But yeah,
I
it's
just saw a picture of For You. That's all that got.
There's
stuck
just
in my
been
head.
a lot of Monster Hunter. I think it's too much too soon. I think they really wanted to capitalize on the popularity of World being released, worldwide.
100%.
And they just kept cranking out Monster Hunter stuff, and it was too much too soon.
Yeah,
But
100%.
if they want to, like, I'm still like, my Hail Mary, please, Capcom, if you want to remaster 3U and 4U and put it on the Switch as one game, please, just. I mean,
They'll still find some way to restrict For You to 30 FPS because it's on the Switch. Because why not, right?
yeah, even though it was 50, basically
Yeah.
50 FPS on the 3DS.
That's
Find some way
impressive
to
for 3DS.
no,
It looks so good on the 3DS. Like, it is so amazingly well done and optimized that it runs like that on the new 3DS. It's crazy.
Yeah, For You was.
That's really impressive.
Couldn't believe it. Yeah, and a lot of people are going back to like the older Monster Hunter games now. Like Fen, you've got your very special GU file that you've been doing. I don't know if you want to talk about that some.
Oh, yeah, so, well, I've been playing a lot of modern Monster Hunter. Actually, I'm going to go back to World 2 so I can help with Ice. But, yeah, right now I'm replaying GU for the, I don't know, 7th time. Cats only, because I love Prowler. It's my favorite weapon. And Arati finally modded the Switch version so that it's not like nerfed cats like they did from Gen to GU, and they're actually usable. So the cats are strong. I mean, I wouldn't say they're still mid-tier. Like, I'm still taking, 7 to 10 minutes to kill monsters on my own, but it's a lot better than 30 minutes.
I think 20
Yeah.
or 30.
So like they're good, but they're not like super OP. But say I'm playing a modded version on the emulator, so it's 60 FPS and super nice cats, and it's really fucking fun. And I think a lot of people are actually getting into the emulated version right now, because who doesn't want to play Monster Hunter on 60 frames, right? Looks good. So yeah, I'm playing that, and I'm playing cats when I'm only doing like not boomerang cats, because I mean I've played boomerang cats for years, so I'm doing like beast cat and fighter cat and bomb cat basically, just kind of switching those up, so they're fun. And then I'm also going to start playing World again, because we got to finish the Iceborne Community Edition mod. Since Kanta started playing it, it's kind of skyrocketed in popularity again, and we have our own Discord for it now. And so I got to finish the experimental side, because the bowguns were left in shambles. So me and Arada got to get on that. So we're going to be doing that later too.
Yeah, there's been a lot of progress made with Ice, and that whole thing with Kanta was fucking hilarious, because what was it? We knew every single time Kanta went live, because he'd have a command to say, hey, join this Discord, and it would just be a wall of people in like the main chat, like everyone is joined. It's like, oh, Kanta's live again.
Yep. And so yeah, we had to move it because it just got too overwhelming. So thank God for Kanta for promoting that, because that kind of lit a fire under us to actually keep working on it. But I mean, that's cool. A lot of people on PC seem to like it, because I mean, who doesn't want to play with no clutch claw, right? It's great.
Yeah.
And it's actually so cool that like the Iceborne directory is actually above like GU and 4U and Rise and Stories. So it's like we're back to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking through the hit zone changes and just seeing some of those adjustments. I was like, oh wow, okay,
Well,
I get this.
Because so the way they do it now is all the hit zones are usable for the most part. I mean, within reason. But it's because we don't do the tenderize mechanic anymore. And Ice tenderize is literally just like +5 to that hit zone. So if you want to tenderize, you can. But you don't have to rely on tenderizing and keep a monster up. Because they don't clagger either. You got to find your own opportunities to tenderize.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was just looking through that stuff the other day, because I still haven't downloaded it yet. But
you haven't played
looking at
Omnilands?
those numbers, not yet.
Oh man, even I went through a playthrough with it.
Yeah, I've got so much backlog though. I've got I started playing Freedom Unite, and I still haven't finished 4U, and then I've still got to get around to playing Bloodborne. I think my chat wants me to do, because I haven't done that yet.
Do Bloodborne.
Yeah, I know, dude. I know, but I'm just holding out, like you were saying, for PC, even though it's never gonna happen.
It's not.
But I'm just hoping.
No. And speaking of being hunter on about that, is I have not finished GU yet. I just reached G rank and I stopped because I got a little bit of a burnout. But I got someone who's just kind of like, play the shit, play Fatalis in GU. I'm like, all right, I'll eventually do it. So I know that feeling of somebody that's always constantly reminding you, hey, you gonna play that game, huh?
GU's hard too. Like, I mean, it's hard if you're not playing Valor Longsword and Valor Heavy Bowgun.
Valor Greatsword is what I'm doing right now.
That's cool.
Oh, good choice. Good choice. Yeah.
That looks super
I
fun.
didn't even know about it. I just picked on it like, oh, this seems fun. And then for the skill, I'm using forgot the name of it, but it charges up for a long time before it hits.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Like
Brimstone.
Brimstone Slash.
So yeah, Brimstone Slash. It is so stupid, and that's why I love it so much.
Because it's like a 30-second charge. It's like,
yeah,
hold it.
You just
Hold
wait right
it.
there. You just wait right there. When this hits, you're gonna know about it. So usually, I finally actually, like, throughout my whole gameplay, I was using it incorrectly, where I mount the monster, bring it down, and then wait for the full 30 seconds while I read a manga in between, and then come down on it. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know you could take the hit until I was at the end of the village story, where you gotta go fight Elatron. Spoilers, anyone who's playing it. And I accidentally pressed it when Elatron was roaring, and it activated quickly. Like, oh, you tell me throughout this whole gameplay I was using it incorrectly, and I could have just, all right, sweet. Let me just go grab another drink.
Yeah, that's it. You just you eat roars, and then
You eat roars.
Yeah.
It took me so long to realize that, because you basically end up using it like the critical juncture for the longsword. You just like, there's an attack coming, let me pop it, and then that's it. You get a cool counter attack.
You still take the hit though, right? You still take damage.
You still take the hit, but it's like significantly reduced. It might as well just be a mosquito bite. But when I discovered it, no one told me of it. But then when I discovered, like, oh, I'm gonna have fun now.
Yeah.
Tigris, I'm looking at you. Looking at you, buddy.
I fucking hate Tyrex so much.
Yes, I've seen your streams as a cat, man. That's
because the cat's like fucking this big, and trying to run away from Tigrex when you're a melee cat, it's like just fucking run me over, dude.
You want to see a brief summary of Phemeto when the Tigris is like, here's Tigris, and here's Phemeto just coming after it. Just the whole fucking fight, it just reversed. You're just going after it. The whole fight.
Yeah. It's fucking stupid. I don't know why people like Tigrex so much.
I don't see why. Brute is always the better option, or Molten. Like always, the base species sucks. Not a fan. At least it had the dignity in like older generations to do the head turn. But then in 5th gen they went, hey, you know how T-Rex would just turn around and face you and it was super predictable and it was kind of fun? What if he backed up away from you while doing that? You're like, sure.
And it still chipped you as you backed up.
Sure, what if it did? Let's see. Oh, look, T-Rex sucks now. That change was so huge going into the Iceborne demo. I was like, oh, let's see how they do a 2nd gen monster like this in a 5th gen game. Oh.
I will say,
wow.
World's Tigrex is a shit show, but there is one thing you can exploit his AI super hard on his charges that I found out in the demo. You can bait the bite after his charge 100% of the time. He'll never tailspin, and you can get him to stop right where you want him to stop.
I was never motivated enough to try out Tigrex. Brute Tigrex was fine because that was just
Brute.
like
Brute's fun.
Brute's a lot of fun, but it's things like that where you notice where you can expose things and just take advantage of it, like Fatalis Dorito breath attacks, where he just combs the entire area. You can just make that out over and over and over again, and it becomes a cakewalk after that.
And then you're like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
This is what I've devoted an afternoon to. At least I can do this now, but
all that for that sub 10.
Yeah. So as far as Rise goes, like, again, there's nothing really on the horizon there other than, I guess, the Mega Man collaboration with Rush, which is like, okay. I mean,
it's still not enough.
Capcom collabing with themselves because reasons. But I don't think there's anything else really on. They didn't update the roadmap yet. Is it still just Capcom collab stuff?
Yep, it's Capcom collab. I think it's 5 and it's just dictated for 4. So yeah, incredibly vague on that part.
Okay. I didn't know if they had anything else planned or if they were going to wait till the PC version before they announce anything else. Oh no, I'm willing to bet that they're not going to have anything really special until the PC comes out, like in January or February, and they're going to wait like 3 weeks after that. So like once everyone buys it, and they're going to be like, hey, here's the next set of events or the G-Rank expansion for the Switch that's coming out at this date. After they've already got the money for everyone buying it on the PC.
I just, my ultimate cope is I really hope this drought with Rise is just because of Nintendo. Now Nintendo currently have exclusivity. There's something going on behind the scenes where they've got their sweaty little Nintendo hands in it, and they're like, no content for you. It comes out on PC, and then we actually get stuff, because even with previous games, like, we got armor sets, we got, things like Star Knight or the GX Hunter stuff back in 4U and so on.
Or the other event things. But that was on Nintendo too, like on the 3DS. We had all those like anime event DLCs and all sorts of other weird DLC events. You think they're stopping
what changed
that?
in that time? What changed in that time is because Capcom didn't have a massive data leak before the game came out. It's just a little conspiracy theory that I've got, but there might be something to tie into that, is that maybe they're being held back because of that, but who knows? But yeah, we don't have any of the armor sets or any of like the unique event weapons. It's all just layered stuff, stickers, and that's arguably some cool stuff. That Street Fighter collab looked awesome.
Yeah,
and had a cool Raja in it.
It did.
That was good, but like then they're like, oh yeah, here's another voice pack.
But my main issue with Rise is everything that Phemeto said, but I also don't like two major things. I don't like how the riding mechanic interrupts your attack. Like I'm about to hit a TCS on the monster right where that kicks in, and I hit the small bit of it of the TCS before the big one, and now I'm riding the monster. I'm like, great, all right, so there goes that. But the other two thing is that there is no. I like when there's a lot of difficult monsters. That's why I still like World more than anything else, because there's so many more difficult monsters. I don't have just the one. And for me, the one in Rise, where it's just fun to fight, guess who it is? It's really easy. There's only one.
I was gonna say it's
Phemeto, I'm gonna reach out. But
you don't like Rastos?
It's armor drawn. It's armor drawn.
Fuck.
It's Valstrax. It's the only one that I enjoy fighting.
He's
That's
fun.
It.
Yeah, I mean he's really cool. I still think Rathalos is really good. But you're right. There's no real like hard fights. Like the Apex monsters would have been hard if they didn't have the Apex topple mechanic, which I thought was kind of stupid. So because you can just stun lock them forever.
Apex Mizu is a joke. It's like you get a claw break, you get a head stagger, then you get the Apex stagger, and then if you're using a KO weapon, you get that, and it's slipping around the entire time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So yeah, there's shit like that, and then like the fact that there's nothing else to do except fight those monsters that aren't really tough, because you can't like I know I'm sure people are gonna be pissed off. There's no charm farming. Like it's not a thing. No. Because we're still stuck in charm tables, and because basically every charm is basically figured out, we know what's available. You don't have anything good to chase. Like your best thing is like a Wex to attack to, or any like Wex 2 and 2 slot like talisman. That's all you get basically. There's no god charm to chase for. There's nothing to do with that because you can't get out of your charm tables. It's locked in place. So what are you hunting for? There's nothing hard to fight, and like, you can't grind for anything.
No, you just need a charm. If you got the worst table ever, just get a charm with 2 slots in it, and you're fine.
Yeah,
you're okay.
The furthest I think you can go in terms of charms that's realistic is like you can hope for like Wex 2 and then Wirebug for the weapons that use it, like Hunting Horn or Hammer or something.
Yeah, Wirebug 3 or whatever. Yeah, Wex 2, Wirebug 3.
What guys? What's worse, Wirebug or Crush Claw?
I don't hate Wirebug, is the thing. I hate riding and the forced riding.
Yes.
That's really annoying. Because it's effectively the exact same thing as Clutch Claw in Iceborne. It stops the fight, and you have to do this mechanic to keep playing. And it's like, why? Because you stop with the forced mechanics? So it's like, I hated Clutch Claw because it was just, that's all it was there for, is you can grab the monster, throw him into the wall, you have to tenderize it, you have to do this. In Rise, bugs are cool. Bug arts are cool, they're basically just hunter arts or whatever. The mobility with them is really cool. There's a lot of neat things like TSC was showing off, like when he was still playing, where you can like sheath your weapon, Wirebug up, and then do draw attacks and all sorts of stuff like that in the middle of a fight. All that stuff's really cool. I just don't like Wyvern riding. I don't know why they put Wyvern riding in, like at all.
We have riding already. We just do mount attacks.
Yeah, we had mounts. Yeah, they replaced mounts with riding. It's like, that's the only thing I really hate about Rise. Like, I don't think Wirebugs are bad.
And it's on the Switch because it's that 30 FPS. Sometimes it dips even below that. That looks like a PowerPoint presentation that I'm looking at.
And the dropped inputs because.
And yeah, you noticed that too. That was horrible.
Dropped inputs. The amount of full bursts I missed when playing through just because like the connection just decided not to fucking work, or the game just said no, try again, fuck you.
Same
Great,
thing
thanks.
with me with Greatsword with TCS, but that's not the game's fault. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, what's peculiar to me about the whole Wyvern riding thing is, much like the Clutch Claw or the tenderizing, it's a forced mechanic that takes away your choice as a player. It's the fact that the super moves on the ground go towards this riding mechanic. Mm-hmm. Surely, if you're going to go for something to replace the mounts that we had in previous games, it would be from aerial attack. So I don't want to have to do ground splitter or how people did, like the attack after you do counter peek the charge blade. That still counts towards it. Like that shouldn't. I mean, the mechanic shouldn't exist in the first place. It's, or you should at least have an option of if you get to do it. And, by using your best attacks, especially with longsword as well, the Helmbreaker, they have to do it as part of their best attack or their most powerful move. And so they are forced to engage with this mechanic when, it
just wastes time and it's kind of annoying and it throws you around. It's like, Yeah.
Like everybody had a bit of fun with it. You went on a multiplayer hunt with your friends. You got the ride, and you took the monster, and you fucked off to the other side of the map. That's hilarious. We've all done it with our friends. Brilliant. But then, if you're playing and you just want to, get times or speedrun or whatever, not only do we have to deal with the garbage spawns and and the frame rate and the dropped inputs and so on, we now got this mechanic to work around and to circumnavigate.
And the garbage AI that is that game with small monsters and how they interact with everything. Like, I don't know why they thought this was a good idea or if they even looked at it, but any zone that you're in, all the small monsters converge on you in the large monster. It is just a fucking battle royale in like a 4 foot radius of everything's on you. Like, whatever happened? It was like whatever happened to small monsters running away from the large monsters?
That was yeah.
I love this because I just know exactly what quest you're referring to, and it's just I can't disagree. It's you're so right.
Well,
how did Apex Rathian go?
Shut up. Yeah. Not only did that fight destroy my liking of Rise, but just seeing other people complete it with turbo controllers or on the emulator with higher frame rate or stuff like that, and how easy it was, I was just because the Switch drops input so much, I was just like, I'm done. Just fuck it. I don't care anymore. It's so dumb.
And the thing is that Monster Hunter World has become more popular because nobody wants to play Rise. You see the counts on Twitch, and thank God bless the modders, they're making it more fun to play on World than it is for Rise. It's fun. We have people who create mods that add monsters, quality of life things, even change to the whole mechanic of the entire game, like the ice mod. It's just more fun to be on there than it is on Rise.
It's also 60 FPS or more.
Also 60 FPS.
Yeah, or more.
We got mods.
Yeah, the modding potential as well. I really hope that there's at least a little bit of community effort towards modding and stuff like that when Rise comes to PC. I'm not expecting there to be anywhere near as much as well, but it might be interesting to see what could possibly come up.
So, good news and bad news about that. So, I was talking to Aster and I think Arati about it. They already can package mods for Rise on the PC. They can get through that, no problem. Kind of like the Strackers thing for World. Like they basically have a mod injector and loader ready to go. The problem is that it's a whole nother graphical engine or game engine because it's on the RE2 engine, whereas World was what is it called, MS2 or something, M2, whatever it was, M2 framework. But basically they would have to learn how to mod an entirely different game. And I'm not sure when that game comes out on PC if anyone's gonna care to mod it, because the interest for the game already is fucking nothing. At least when World came out on PC, World was still popping. People were still playing on it on console and PC. So, but Rise is just nobody cares.
Not only that, even we compare base World with base Rise, base World have way more content at this point and way more difficult monsters than Rise does.
Because you had tempered farming to get your decos.
Remember the golden pickle when it first came out? Oh, that was a lot of fun. Yeah. I got my ass tossed around left and right like I was in the shoe in the dryer. That was fun. And then came in Behemoth, and then Extreme Behemoth.
Well, we had Cole too,
was great.
And that was a grind. Which I've said it before. Cole was not a bad fight. People just got burnt out grinding it 700 times to get their weapons.
Yeah, trying to get that ice charge blade or the best one ever. The
Glutton. Yeah, Glutton. Glutton charge blade in every fucking bow.
Yeah. I think I had a friend get up to about 1,200 hours before he got his Glutton to drop.
Oh my god.
Oh, the poor guy. And then it gets obsolete in knife.
Well, and he's an HPG main as well. He's exclusively HPG. He's not a gunner main. He is exclusively HPG. And he's like, lads, I finally got it after fucking 1,200 hours.
I'll drink my last sip. I'll drink my last sip to him then.
I don't mind. Yeah, but it's not the thing. Is I hated that they had Cole come and go every week or whatever, but I think that was, looking back, that's probably a necessity to prevent that much burnout of people exclusively grinding Cole for their one weapon that they just don't get.
Yeah,
they did a better job when it comes to sieges when Safi came out. They did a way better job. I don't like siege weapons. Anything that I have to team up to, I don't like. but they did it better than Cove, in my
Well,
opinion.
I think Safi, yeah, was overall better designed as far as the weapons and stuff go.
Yes.
I just
And
don't
the
like the
fight.
Safi. No, really, I hate the Safi fight. I thought it was so
You?
boring. I prefer Cove. If they had Safi weapon mechanics with the Cove fight or MR Cove, that would have been much better. Safi is just a turret. All it does is stand there and fucking shoot lasers. That's all it does.
I guess because I like the attacks that it does, even though they're very slow, like where it just drops a tiny little bloop. That's actually pretty cool to look
Visually,
at.
yeah, your Sapphire
Visually,
Star
it's
Bomb.
entertaining. But I just wish Capcom would have done the same thing what they did with Cove to Raw's Master Rank rework. They would have done the same thing for Safi, because Cove is way more fun in Master Rank than she ever was back in base, or more fun than Safi. She's just more fun.
Yeah, this is just a good fight.
It's a good fight.
Yeah, well, the whole reason is because you get rid of phase 1 as well. There's no
Oh,
slow
yeah.
ass walking around, picking up tracks and dropping the odd rock on
and you don't have to
for the
do-
extras.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about your pursuit levels and stuff. You just go kill Cove. It's a monster. Go fight it.
Yeah, remember me and you, Fam, and Honey, and one of the other friends, we all went and tried Master Rank Cove to Raw for the first time, and we were happy.
Oh yeah, it was a good
Where's
time. We did a lot of
Good
it.
time.
Yeah, it's fun.
Good times. Remember those old times, fam?
Yeah, back in the
Good
good old
old
days
days.
when we had fun with Monster Hunter, when fun was allowed.
And it's funny how that changes though, because everybody was like, "Oh, no more Clutch Claw" when Rise was first announced, but you really can't base like. I think we'll be looking back at things like Rise and what have you, and we'll say something like, "Oh, the content was kind of dry when it first came out." I'm hoping, but it is interesting how the community has kind of shifted now from like Rise is Iceborne is unplayable garbage because of the Clutch Claw to, well, at least it's not Rise now. Like that's
Well, but
kind of
that's not a
the
good thing.
change.
That just means we're getting worse and worse games.
Yeah,
I know,
And that's kind of how it's been. But
So instead of arguing who's better, we're arguing, okay, who's less worse.
yeah, we're arguing who's worse, not who's better.
which is it's crazy, but I don't know. I was never really, just to speak for myself here, but I was never really in the camp of like I hate this game because of Clutch Claw. Like
Right.
it was annoying, but it wasn't game breaking. Like it didn't diminish my enjoyment of it at all. It was just like okay.
The problem with Clutch Claw for me was that it just didn't work. Like it was clunky. It didn't grab to the spot you wanted. You would fall off. Like sometimes you'd hit the monster and the claw didn't do anything. Like
You
it
aim
just
for the head and you're at the
yeah,
tail.
like it didn't work consistently, and it was just really annoying. And then you deal with that for 2 straight years of playing that game, and it's just
Yeah.
like enough is enough.
The fight gets interrupted because it's like, hey, it's time to Clutch Claw. Here's your chance.
Yeah,
Come on.
and then you shoot your Clutch Claw at the face, and it literally just hits the face, and it doesn't attach. Like
Now, I think like some of the best fixes is probably 1 or 2 changes that would gradually improve the game. So instead of Clutch Claw, where you have to Clutch Claw, what if there was no Clutch Claw and you just did enough damage to that one part and it becomes tendy?
Oh, see now you know what realm you're getting into here, Ramos, is that is Frontier territory. Frontier actually did that. So yeah, because I'll look for any excuse to talk about that game, even though it's been
Go ahead,
2
bring it
years.
in. Bring it in.
So there was a skill called Point Breakthrough PBT. It used the same kanji that you see in Weakness Exploit. That kind of looks like it's like a square with a thing on top. You'd recognize it if you saw it. But basically, you built up this tenderized like a status. You attacked one part of the body, and eventually it would flash green. And the blood effect, because it was based on the 2nd gen engine, it did have a blood effect. The blood effect became larger and brighter and more vivid. And yeah, I think it was just a straight up like plus 10 to the hit zone, something
wow.
like that. But I think so. Tell you what, let me look it up.
We need to bring that up. We need you to be at the forefront of that for us, Sarah, and let them know. Hey,
Dude, I've been-
this back.
There are so many good
I
things that
think
the
it
games
would
have
require a
brought from
plugin,
Frontier.
but I feel like that would be doable in World.
Yeah, it was a crazy good skill, but yeah, it's funny how like that skill sort of existed. I believe it existed before Iceborne and the whole tenderizing thing was even thought of. But yeah, so it's called Point Breakthrough, and yeah, you just attacked a part and did more damage. I'm trying to find the numbers here. It's probably something stupid, but yeah, no, sorry, it was just +5, but it was
Okay.
just through attacking and being aggressive. And that was like a staple of these skills as well. So many of them were based around as long as you keep attacking, as long as you don't get hit, as long as you can guard perfectly, you get this boost. And it kept stacking and stacking and stacking. Like imagine offensive guard, but every time you guarded successfully, you get more and more attack on top of it until it hits a cap. That was obscurity. So that was also a skill that existed.
Nice.
But yeah, that would have been awesome, just to not take anything out of the flow of combat and have this extra tenderizing mechanic. Go from there. I thought that'd be.
I think
a great idea.
If they couldn't remove the Kosh Claw, at least remove the fact that we have to cling onto his face, give it, the wet willy, and then we were able to tenderize from it. And that would have been, because I do like the Kosh Claw for what it does. For example, I'm a great sword main. I can go straight into TCS after one swing, thanks to that. So it's not all the way around bad. It just it doesn't work with the flow of the fight.
Well, and like the clutch claw attack for bow is actually really good and usable, but it's like, you attach to the monster, and then like, okay, the monster is near a rock, so you just fall off, or you do your slinger burst, and then it hits a wall, but it doesn't actually hit the wall. It just slides up against it, so it doesn't topple, and it's like. It was all the little things. Yeah, Elatrion. It was all the little things that just messed up. Like, there's nothing really bad about it. I just didn't like the fact that it just didn't work.
Yeah. I mean, we get the intention of it. We get it. It's just that, no. No.
No more.
No.
So if I'm understanding this right, then with Ice, the Clutch Claw is still in the game. You do still have the option to tenderize, but a lot of the extra stuff that was added in that was deemed useless is taken out, and claggers just don't exist anymore, right?
Right.
I'm understanding that.
Claggers don't exist, so monsters don't stop. So you probably don't realize it, but like G-rank monsters in Iceborne, when they don't clagger, are really, really aggressive. They won't stop, because I think all the stagger thresholds have been increased as well. But yes, you still have your claw. You can still swipe to turn them and wall bang them, and you can tenderize them, which is just +5 to their hit zone now, I believe. And you can still do your wall bang to topple and to get damage on the ground, but because you don't clagger, you have to find your own opportunities to do that. So that makes it more interesting. So yeah, it's still a thing. You can still do like slinger burst. You can do like your pod shoot stuff. All that stuff works.
Don't mind that, because it helps you learn when is the window to Kosh Claw it and tenderize it.
Like doing it from the start, it's still a good opportunity, or right after a monster's done, like with its enrage timer, still works. So stuff like that.
Yeah. It is interesting seeing like the changes. You were talking about Omnilance as well. Didn't realize that you'd completely gotten rid of the Wormstake Blast as well, or it just doesn't last for any amount of time.
Yeah, so it's not a thing. They just made the shelling deal damage as if you had it, so it's not something you have to do. Because the problem with the Wormstake Blast, the butt plug basically, was that it's fucking impossible to aim it properly and put it on the part you actually wanted to do.
Yes.
And then loading it was a huge pain in the ass. Like, it was a nuisance, like a heat gauge, that they forced you to do to get Gunlance into a normal state. And like, fuck that.
Have you tried putting that butt plug into Fatalis' face?
Yeah, I actually have.
It is. If you want torture, if you like that kind of stuff, if that's your kink, then go for it. But it's a pain in the ass to give an ear piercing to Fatalis, and then if you successfully do it, consistently shell on it.
Yeah, that's
a different deal as well. And then after trying for 3 minutes, trying to hit it at least once, it comes off.
Yep.
Yeah, because the ammo you have to pick up at the start is trash. I was alerted to a Fatalis run the other day, sub 4-man run, where apparently, and I haven't done much research in this, but apparently there is a glitch where, you know how the switch axe could, when it's in amp state, like triple its damage by attacking.
You can hit allies and other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently the Wormstake cannon can do that as well. Apparently it multiplies its damage if it's done over other players or over something else. Again, I haven't looked into it too much. I didn't watch the run in its entirety, but it was, I think, a hunting horn, 2 gun lances, and then one other, I don't know what it was. I don't think it was like any serious like contender or anything like that. But yeah, it was seeing that time, sub 4 minutes is pretty impressive, I think, for Fatalis.
Here's my problem. Like, especially now with Iceborne and stuff, I don't know if that's an actual bug. Is it a mod? Did they do something funky with the game? There's so much shit in that game that I don't know what's real anymore, so I can't really bring myself to care.
Yeah, yeah, it's just not worth the effort because you know when you get excited about it, eventually what's going to happen is if you find out they cheated. So
or something. Yeah, they did something weird, and that's unfortunately a lot. And that's kind of why I stopped playing Iceborne right after Fatalis. It's a lot of that shit was going down. So.
Oh yeah.
Just
a lot of stuff everywhere of people going, oh yeah, no, Fatalis is easy. Turn your trainer off. Try that.
Yeah. So it's just whatever. So. I mean, that's cool if that works. That's great because that's the same bug basically as the Torchpod bug back in the demo for World.
It's good bookends. I like that. Start and then finish. Perfect.
That was a fun bug, but yeah, I just don't know what's real anymore. So is there anything else that's coming up that anyone's excited for, or anything else you guys want to talk about regarding gaming in general?
So I have just started playing the Yakuza series.
Okay.
Which is never something that used to be on my radar, not something I thought I'd be interested in, and was very surprised to find out that Sega is like the main, company behind it. But yeah, I know they make games that aren't Sonic. Wow, but that's just my ignorance there. But it's one of the most bizarre experiences I've ever gone through in gaming because you look at it and you think, oh, this is going to be a gritty, edgy, crime. You're going to beat up some dudes and whatever, and that stuff does happen. But like 80% of the other content is like you go bowling or you help out the residents of the city and you give touching life lessons, and then you're a hardcore Yakuza who kills people and stuff. And yeah, it's just been a complete breath of fresh air.
I've heard nothing but good things about the Yakuza series.
Oh, we're talking about like Enter the Dragon.
No, so Like a Dragon's like the soft reboot that they did. I've been playing Yakuza 0, so I think it was like the first two games. Yeah, the first two games were 1 and 2, then 3, then 4, and then I think they went from 5 and then made 0 as a prequel on like a brand new engine, and then Yakuza 6, I think, and then 7.
Oh, I don't even remember 6.
They're good games. They're incredibly good games. If you want your $60 worth of content that'll stretch for however you want it to, because you can just strict to just the main story and you still get a good chunk of content. But if you do everything in the game, side quests, mini games and all that, they put a lot of thought into it. Even the RPG one is incredible.
Yeah, and getting into it, it's so, like, we talk about how Monster Hunter is difficult to get into because there's a lot of, stuff the game doesn't tell you and a lot of stuff thrown at you at once. This is very hard to get into because it just starts so slow. It's like you've got an hour, well, not an hour, but like, we're talking like Metal Gear Solid style cutscenes where you sat there for like 20 minutes, like, okay, cool, plot, exposition, plot, and it's good plot, but
you gotta be into that sort of thing.
Yeah, you gotta really be into the mood to play it. But no, I've been having a blast with it because it's great. You could just go from like beating up some thugs on the street, and then you're like, yeah, let's go bowling, play some darts, sing some karaoke.
Yeah.
So yeah, completely different experience. But I'm also worried that if I get into it, that's all of my free time gone. Because I think the 100% for every game is like, if you're the type to do that, is like 100 hours, 150 hours per game, and there's like fucking 9 of them now.
It's time to burn.
Time to burn, man. If you're in content drought, pick up a Yakuza game. You will not regret it. It is great.
Did anyone play Shadow Warrior or Shadow Warrior 2 that came out like 5 years ago?
I've heard of, but no, never.
Shadow Warrior was actually a really fun game, but Shadow Warrior 3 is coming out. I just didn't know if anyone else had that on their radar. But
I'll try. You know what's on my radar that I talked to you about? Phemeto is Back for Blood. Waiting for that one.
Oh yeah, that's not out yet, right? The demo finished, but
no.
Yeah.
Definitely. I spoke with some people. We definitely do have. It's me and you. I do definitely have a third. She's interested in it, but she rather plays the full release of it, not the beta.
That's what I'm thinking too. Is just I don't really want to play the beta. Also, I heard a lot of people didn't like the beta.
Probably, and then we'll check the reviews like we always do. We just don't buy into the hype and then just wait to see how the game is before we buy it. That's how you know you're getting older, folks. To my young gamers, that's how you know you're getting older. We actually wait. Have some self-control.
Dude, it blows my mind to this day that people are out here, speaking of waiting and stuff, people are out here buying like day one launch consoles. I had this conversation a couple of times where it's like, you gotta wait a year, like at least for all the shit to get fixed and everything to get like.
Well, and there's nothing
patched.
out on the console.
Sweats and Monster Rise.
Yeah, that too.
I day one. That was a mistake.
I still day one buy Monster Hunter games because, like I said, I think there's no
They get a
bad
pass.
Monster Hunter game. Like
They get a pass.
regardless of how bad it is, I'm gonna put 150 hours into it minimum. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna do that for most other games. So that's
Nope.
worth. But I mean, most other games I'm probably not going to have that level of dedication for.
I think that comes from making content in it as well, right? So, you know, that's why getting things like early copies as well is such a huge boost for a lot of people, because if you're making content, you can get it out first, get it out early, and so on, and you're going to have to get that game day one, even if you might not be particularly interested in it. You know, like there are plenty of content creators out there who would say, you know, I didn't really like World or didn't gel with World, but they're still going to buy the next one, even if they didn't like the previous one, because that's the game they make content in. So it's a bit of an odd situation where you're almost like forced to get it day one, you know?
I'm wondering
for me-
how many people are gonna get early copies and day one review copies and stuff from Capcom now that Sox isn't community manager. He went on to go do other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Has there been a replacement confirmed for Socks?
I don't
Like,
think
we don't
so.
know. I
Who
don't
can
see
really
anything.
replace Socks, really?
I know you can't
I-
replace
yeah.
Sox. I mean,
I was gonna
Sox is-
say, there's...
well, because he was the only actual face for Capcom we've had. Like nobody else. Like who else do you know?
Who's gonna come
Yeah.
after Socks? Underwear? What's after Socks?
Yeah, we're gonna get his
But-
brother's
No, but
shoes.
that's it.
Well, no, it was Socks and
Shoes.
Yuri, wasn't it?
Yeah, but Yuri wasn't
So-
like he wasn't like out there. His face wasn't out there. Like yeah, he's on Twitter a bit, but like he never did really any of those streams or any of those videos. Because Sox was making videos for Capcom and stuff too.
Oh yeah, that's it. I suppose. Oh no, it was there for 4U. I remember Yuri specifically every month, every DLC for 4U was, "Hey guys, it's Yuri from Capcom. Here's what's coming out." And it was, yeah, he was the guy who did all of the 4U announcements for the West, or at least somebody with the same name as him.
That's probably still him. Yeah,
Probably.
I haven't
But,
seen him around in like a good while, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that stuff works, but yeah, and how it's going to change as well for like. You know, because there was always when Sox was community manager, there's always just a sense of like, oh yeah, this tweet was done by him. You can tell.
Yeah.
You know, like it was that cool little like, yeah, I see it. But yeah, and in terms of thinking like a content creator, considering as well with how saturated I suppose the market is with how many content creators sort of sprung up out of the woodwork with World, it's going to be interesting to see how that landscape changes, or if it does at all going forward, especially with the slight sense of, or that slight bitter taste that we've got for Rise right now.
Well,
You know,
I'll never
for,
get a
like-
review code, so it doesn't matter to me.
I mean, I create content for Monster Hunter. I don't do it for Rise anymore, but I still go back to Monster Hunter because I love the fact that there's still so much fun things to do that you are able to make content of it. For me, I like doing highlights, preferably the fail ones, where I usually cart a funny way or I'll miss like the best move of the weapon the best way and just get totally punished for it and just make a good laugh out of it. But that's what makes those games fun. Whether you're a speedrunner, where you like doing
Everyone loves to see
challenges,
people fail.
casual. It's the fail parts is usually my forte. That's my bread and butter right there. That's what I like to create. So anytime that I cart, because what I like doing is I like acting all cocky during the whole fight, thinking I'm the best shit ever, and just get humble real quick.
Oh,
'cause I
shit, get
carted.
hit.
Yeah. People love that stuff. Like, no, yeah, you can get a world record and it's all impressive and everything, but what people really want to see is Magnamalo push your teeth in. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
They want to
there's
see the
always going to be a
monster
market for that. Yeah.
See, you want to see the Nergy bomb right into your bum. That's what people
Yeah.
want to see. I miss Nergy bomb, by the way.
win. Yeah,
Yeah,
Nerf's
Nergy bomb was
cool.
good.
Surprised we
so
didn't get
cool.
to see him like come back for Rise at all. I think that would have been a great addition when they brought in all the elders.
At least we have it in stories too.
We do. Yeah.
But I'm actually thinking about commissioning the modder just to get a normal Nergy Ruiner, Nergy nothing special. Just add the Pepega Slam and the Nergy Bomb with this moveset, and that's it. That's all I want, just for me.
For stories too.
No, for World. That's all I want. I just want a regular Ruiner Nergy that can do Pepega Slam and Nergy Bomb.
I have those files if you want it.
Oh, there we go.
Please give it.
Yeah,
Please give it.
way
DMs are,
back
like,
before,
right there.
yeah, Well, a long time ago when I was we were still working on Ice, Fanderus was helping with some AI edits. And so yeah, we do have a Nergigante that does grow his spikes black and will do his dive bomb and has Papinka Slam.
Delicious. Because Nerg is my favorite monster.
I mean, he's really cool.
It's just fucking cool. I think of him like as the Wolverine of Monster Hunter, because he just regenerates and just come after you with claws and it just doesn't give a shit. No special moves, no element.
Yeah,
he just this is all I need right here. This all I need.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Nergy.
Sorry, Ramos, please go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sarah, because I was pretty much I was just gonna rant about Nergy.
Yeah, dude, I could do that about Gogmatius all day, but I think there's always like those few iconic monsters that carry over, you know, like from every single generation. And I'm not talking about like the ones that are forced down your throat. Like, can we give Diablos a rest for like a second, please? But like, there's all this cool stuff like Goose in World or Nergigante, like you're saying, things like Velcana and stuff. I wonder what going forward the new like classics are gonna be, you know, because we had that with how popular Gore is and Seregios and stuff like that in 4th gen, Glavenus, you know.
So here's the thing. So do you think anything from Rise is gonna be like a staple going forward? Because most of it is pretty like themed for that area. I don't know how much of it fits elsewhere, like Magdamalo specifically.
Yeah, and especially the Wind Serpents as well. Like, they couldn't really work in another game outside. Oh, I'm trying to remember Rice's roster now. God, no, I don't know. How about you, Ramos? Anything from Rise that could be considered classic going forward?
I do like riding my dog.
I mean, yeah, the Palamute.
Can I get Prowler mode with Palamute, please?
Oh, that would be great. Like, you're just your cat. You're the cat, and you just got your dog.
No. You can play as the cat or the dog as Prowler.
That's what I'm saying.
And then
that's what I'm saying.
I want to be the dog, and then have like my cat assist, but they're just riding on the dog as you're running through the map.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's cool. That's like you could do a whole game like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing I actually want. I would love for a Monster Hunter spinoff. It's Meowster Hunters, where you're just cats. Like, it's just like a little like light-hearted Monster Hunter game where you're just the cats.
But it's still the same type of gameplay.
Yeah.
Go out, hunt monsters, get gear. Oh, dude.
But you're
actually,
the
I
cats.
love that.
It's Meowster Hunters.
Yeah, it's right there. It's been there.
Throw money at my screen right now.
Like, how cool would that be? Like, it doesn't even have to be like a long game. It could just be like a little light spin-off Monster Hunter game.
Dude, I actually like that. Yeah, I'm sold. All right.
That's a great idea. Clip it and ship it. Send it over to Capcom.
I can't believe you're CEO of Capcom now, fam. Well done.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, congratulations.
Capcom hates my guts.
Because you're doing their work for them. And also, no, to answer your question, I don't think there's anything right now from Rise that could be considered classic. The closest I'd get is like Tetranodon or Gossarak. Like, because those are cool monsters. But,
yes, the bear.
Like, the Oni bear Namahage thing. Yeah,
he's the coolest because if he gets a knockdown on you and you're on your back, if he gets a pin on you, that menacing walk as he has this long blade on his arm, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen out of that game.
So 2 things about Boss Kebab. So 1, it would have been so much better if he did that and he didn't have his ice arm, but as he walked up to you, you just saw it slowly grow out.
Oh yeah,
that would have been way fucking better.
That would have been great.
So they missed the mark there. But then 2, I don't know if Boss Kebab will work in other games because he's still that whole yokai themed monster that I think is just specific to that region, that I don't know how he would look in other games. Like, he would just feel so out of place.
But people will still welcome it. He'll be out of place and be like, fuck it, I mean, whatever, come on in.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely prefer him over Lagombi in an ice area, but...
Well, yeah, because he's actually a threat as well.
Speaking of Lagombi, man, it's like when I played GU for the first time, I didn't know what were variants. So when I was still in low rank, I loaded up the Lagombi, the variant version of it.
Oh, Snow Baron?
Snow Baron of it, and I had no idea what I was in for. It was like about 35 minutes of pure hell.
I fucking hate Snow Baron so much.
Snow Baron's a shitty deviant.
People who know me will generally just like post a random picture of Snow Baron Lagombi and say, look, Ramos, remember this? And I just banned them from the Discord.
Dude, I'm the same way. I fucking hate it. Especially because here's the thing, because I've been playing a lot of GU as cats for the past couple of years, and when you are snowed as a hunter, I can just drink a cleanser if you get snowman or whatever, or you can shake it off. You can't do that as a fucking cat. So you have a full 10 seconds of walking around as a fucking snowman. Unless you specifically passive skill in the one that reduces it.
So cats can't shake off snow or mud?
Nope.
Oh my god. Snow Baron was bad enough. That's hell, dude.
It was awful.
Jesus Christ.
I wonder if Phemeto would like playing as a cat in Rise when he goes up against Almudron. I don't know how he will take that.
I don't know if cats can do anything to Almudron. He's just got so much mud around him. Like, I don't think I'd ever get to him.
And then when you get there, he'd do that attack where he goes to the other side of the arena, and then there's a bunch of just shit columns in your way.
Pillars, just pillars everywhere. I mean, it was cool climbing up and then trying to go after it. But here's what I don't like about that one specific boot. It's cool that you use the mechanic of the game to go and climb up the pillars, and you think you're gonna just do a dive attack on it and does a roar. He does this freaking roar every time, like you missed the mark. That was the cool moment, but no, no fun allowed in Rise. No fun allowed. No
also,
fun.
I didn't like how many monster skills had just infinitely high vertical hitboxes in a game that's designed around aerial combat. It's just like, I'm gonna do like a side swipe and then I'm gonna hit you even though you're above me. Like, all right.
Yeah. That was the bizarre thing. Like, there was that hitbox with Magnamalo in the demo where before it does the shotgun attack and it's swishing its tail around, that counts as a hitbox. I remember flying over him when he was preparing that, and I'm like, oh, I'll just guard edge when I land. Nope, and I'm dead. Like, it's, bizarre to me.
I prefer Magnamalo beta than the one we have right now.
I think high rank Magnamalo is pretty good. Beta was low rank and it was fine because, I mean, he was a challenge because we didn't have any gear. We're basically going in with nothing.
Well, mostly that we only had like 20 minutes?
Yeah, he had a very short amount of time.
That was fun.
And you're just plinking away with some shitty weapons.
Yeah.
But I really like Magnamalo as a flagship. I think he's actually a really good monster.
It's really freaking cool.
I don't know if he fits in coming into other games, but I wouldn't hate it if he did because I think he's cool enough.
He gets a pass. Come on in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good monster, but outside, like, I couldn't imagine it elsewhere that isn't.
Do you think it was a bad decision to make Rise so many yokai reference monsters to the point where that's exactly what it is? It makes it hard to transition to another game?
Well, no, because this is a spin-off game, basically. Kind of like how Generations was. Granted, everyone loves the Fated 4, apparently, so they're coming with us.
I find it weird it's called the Fated 4, but there's only 3 of them. You know, there's Glavenus, Asplos, and Mizutsune. It's kind of weird that they didn't include a 4th monster in there, you know?
Valstrax. Duh.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry. It should have been called the Fated 5 actually, because then there's the Bloodbath Diablos, which they kind of include as their own little monster. I just thought that was a weird naming convention, but you know, who can tell with Capcom?
Apparently, we got them all in stories too. That's because it's an RPG game.
We don't have Booster Burb,
which is a complete miss. Even if it was going to be Crimson Glow or something, like how are you not getting Strax as a monster?
Yeah. How cool would that have been to fly around on? Just naturally a lot faster.
Can you imagine? Yeah, that would have been amazing. I mean, it's cool enough you can fly in a game like that. I thought it was just really cool. But to jet around? Oh, my frame rate would be up 5 per second, man, if I'm Valstrax.
It would look so awful.
On the Switch, and my Switch will start smoking here, and the little smoke just coming out of it when I'm Valstrax.
Your Switch starts glowing red.
I was going to say, that's the strat, though, right? You get the Valstrax patch, you go to fly from one area to the other, turn your Switch upside down and crack an egg on it, and then you've got yourself a nice snack.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Save some time.
Not only that, that's genius marketing for Nintendo. It's like, let's burn up their current Switch, right?
And then they have to buy the new Switch.
Buy another one.
This one's got better cooling.
Make that guy a manager.
And an OLED screen.
Yeah. That's the funniest thing ever. So I love OLED screens. I think they look fantastic. But it's like, the Switch is like fucking 600p or something stupid.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, who cares? Like, you're going to play it docked, in which case it doesn't fucking matter. But handheld, it's like 540p. It's like... like, why?
It's very, very funny to me. It's like putting, I don't know... I'm trying to think of something like irrelevant. Like... I don't even know, but it's just the fact that that was like, this is your new Switch is just so funny to me.
And the
'Cause
thing
it's
is,
such
like,
an-
we were so hyped for the rumors when we heard it.
I wasn't.
Oh,
I
yeah.
knew it was gonna be shit. I knew it was gonna be like the Switch plus one thing.
Yeah, anytime somebody says Switch Pro, you just got to ignore it. Like,
Yeah.
if it happens, it
But
happens.
it's like
but
every
any
Nintendo
rumors-
always brings out a new version of their consoles all the time, and it's always just like, okay,
Just ignore it like we do Rise. It's the same thing.
yeah.
Hey, do you remember the DSi? Like, how was that any different?
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that just like the Nintendo DS with a camera on it? Or
Yeah,
like a
it was.
front-facing camera?
Yeah,
it was
the
just,
camera.
not different in the
Speaking of
slightest.
that,
But yeah,
put that right there.
oh, there we go. He's showing off the goods.
The
Nice.
3DS
But
with
yeah.
the Pikachu nipples. Gotcha.
Yeah, that
Hell
one.
yeah.
Limited edition. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I got my
But yeah, with-
4U 3DS somewhere.
With the current state of how things are going, and just I think it can be summarized with Rise and stuff like that. Is I hope the PC edition changes something or maybe injects a little bit of life into it. But right now we're all just sort of holding out. I think.
I wouldn't mind playing Rise, even despite I don't like the interruption of the wire bug. As long as it's on, I can stomach it if it's on PC.
Well, that's what I'm at too. It's like I don't hate Rise. I just don't want to play it on the Switch anymore.
Yeah.
It's like I'm kind of over it. Like I would like to play on 60 frames where my inputs don't drop and it looks nice and pretty because I'm not at 540p. Like that's fine.
I got burned out way more quicker on Rise than I ever did any other Monster Hunter, and I've only played GU and World.
Yeah, I mean I played more stories too than I did for Rise.
Yeah,
And
I have way
what's that
more
telling
fun
ya?
in Source 2. Source 2 was way more. Getting to see all the cutscenes of their special moves was way more entertaining than I ever had in Rise.
Rise, or not Rise. Stories 2 was still a good game. Yeah, the end
It is.
game content was basically non-existent, and co-op was a sham. But
Yeah.
the actual campaign and story for that game was worth the playthrough.
They put a lot of effort into the cinematic special moves of them. Except
And all
when
the
your co-op
voice
is just
acting
garbage.
and yeah, just the story in general is just really well done. Especially when you
That-
consider Monster Hunter games aren't really known for their story.
No, definitely.
No,
not.
they're not. And I just had remembering some funny cutscenes in Stories 2 where they just immediately get you cracking up. Where they just give those like when they first get travel to one city to another, and when the first time I saw them getting carted just tossed over, they just make that facial expression. I love that deer. That tugs at my feelings. I loved it. It's just so funny every time that I see it. Or during the cutscenes during the story, where they just make this ridiculous blank face, like are you kidding me here? And they make some good facial expressions there.
Yeah, we
You
got a
think
lot of
I'm
memes
lying?
out of
Yes.
it.
They have fun with it. You can tell they have fun with it. That's what I like. It's a good game.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap this up?
No, I pretty much talked everything that I wanted about. We talked about the Souls games, Monster Hunter, Pokemon.
Oh, one thing actually that I do want to mention. I've seen this sort of murmuring around on Reddit, on Twitter and stuff. Apparently there is a project for Monster Hunter Try having private servers. I don't know too much about it. I've seen it. I believe it was Ristretto talking about it, but I believe people are trying to find a way to get multiplayer, or at least try working somehow. Because there's a lot of content that was missed out when the servers got shut down, so you couldn't fight Deviljho, you couldn't fight Alatreon, things like that.
Why
So
try?
apparently that is something, yeah, try. But apparently that is something that's in the works. Again, I've only seen sort of whispers and rumors about it, nothing concrete. I think there's maybe a video out there telling you how to sort of get it set up initially. But
On the PSP,
that's
right?
Try was on the Wii.
Was okay. I thought only G and 3U were on the Wii. That's Wii U.
Yeah, Wii U. Yeah.
Okay.
So Try was came out for the Wii, but yeah, that's a thing that's starting. So we might be seeing more of that, which I'd be very interested in actually, because Try was simple, comfy, and really like stripped back. So yeah, to anybody who's come this far, keep an eye out for that. That might be something further down the line.
Should be cool.
All right.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. I know time zones are kind of all over the place, and
My fault.
yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm
It was-
okay
but
doing
no,
stuff
but-
in the morning.
But I'm glad of the time zone we picked to do this. The other one was going to be ungodly, and
Well,
I
you don't
forgot
want to
to
do this at 3 o'clock in the morning?
No, not only that, I forgot to remove my alarm for 3 a.m. Guess what time I woke up?
Well, hopefully we went back to sleep.
Very nice.
Man. Yeah. But no, it was a lot of fun having you, Sarah. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thanks,
quite all right.
guys. We'll see you guys next time.
All right, take it
guys.
easy.
Peace.
Bye.